Rock Dude here.
Mark Easy, and welcome to another awesome episode on Season 2 of the
Rockin' House.
And today's special guest from the Midwest, we have the band Beyond the Gray. Kansas City they're from. Rock Dude.
Yeah, this is a newer band. They've been around for a couple of years. In a short amount of time, they put several CDs out, which are available. They're like an Alice in Chains meets Disturbed from Kansas City.
Yeah.
And heavy metal, but not too over the top. They're would be a radio-friendly style metal band.
Yep.
And they're a five-piece band, two guitar players, bass, drums, singer up front.
Yep.
And today we're going to have their singer and guitarist on the show today. And as far as connecting the dots, with which we have been doing because we're blessed on all that, we're connected with Ronnie Hoaxie of the Flirt magazine, and they appeared in it in the magazine. And was suggested that we have them on the show today. Great. And then with that said, we've been fortunate to have been in the magazine 3 times. So 2 thumbs up to Ronnie Hoaxie and his Flirt magazine publication out of, where are they at? Connecticut? Rhode Island. Okay. So what do you think, Mark?
I say, we have to mention something that's pretty interesting that we talked about. It seems to be a lot of these guys are influenced by that band Kiss.
Kiss. Even if they say it's not their favorite band, growing up as a young, influential, soon-to-be musician or whatever, it's always Kiss. And the guitar player today on the show said the same thing. So
yeah. As soon as he heard Ace Frehley with that song "Shock Me," that's what drew him in. He said, "I heard that," and I said, "Man, I want to do that." So again, Kiss is a major influence on just about, I don't know, a good percentage of people been on our show, that's for sure.
Yeah, so today we have the hard rock metal band Beyond the Gray, Grey, Gray. And then, so what do you think, Mark?
I say let's bring on Scott and David, and they're going to tell us what's going on with the band. They got some new things to talk about in the future with the band. Bring them on, and welcome to the Rockin' House. Welcome to the Rockin' House, guys.
Overwhelms us. Violence becomes norm. There's no communication. We're not talking anymore.
I'm here with my partner, Rockin, and welcome to Season 2 of the Rockin' House. Today's special guest from Kansas City. I've got Beyond the Gray. I got Scott, guitar player, lead guitar player, I guess, and I got the lead singer, Dave. Guys, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Rockin' House today. How are you doing today, brothers?
Doing fantastic.
Awesomeness.
Absolutely.
Awesome, guys. All right, well, I'll tell you what, we got a lot to talk about, and what we're going to start with is how you guys became musicians. What started you to become a musician? Why did you want to become a musician? What are some of your influences as a musician? Let's start there.
Scott, you go first because you're the oldest.
Well, really, right out of the gate, I tell you.
All right, Scott.
All right.
Let's hear your story on that, brother.
I think I've always been a music guy. I started playing guitar when I was a kid, taking lessons, and that didn't last long. But then I just stayed with it and did a lot of singing and been in bands since I was 18. Always singing, playing guitar, all that sort of stuff, and just. Always had the musical bug. I'm a lifer. Anybody who's been in this for a long time, that's been with it this long, that's still doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Never give up.
That's right.
So
there you go. Awesome stuff. So let's go with you a little bit more, and then we'll come back to you, Dave. What are some of your influences as a guitar player? Like what inspired you to become the guitar player you are today with the band Beyond the Gray?
I think it was the first time hearing ones that stick out in my mind, even though he's like not my biggest guy in my life, but like Ace Frehley,
nice.
With Kiss. I remember kind of hearing "Shock Me" solo on the Kiss Alive 2 record and being like, oh man,
nice.
and that's so cool. And then guys like Brian May, I'm a big Queen fan.
Love Queen, dude.
As well, and I think that type of playing is more along my lines. It's a melodic type of playing that he has. He's not the most technically adept guy, versus some other people, but people that have that pop and hard rock, even guys like Rick Nielsen of Cheap Trick, one of my all-time favorite bands.
Very cool.
Those are early influences of guys like that. Got into the Alice in Chains and System of a Down, the more grungy stuff of guys. I tended to always like guys that I think sounded a little different, that had the
All
very,
right.
you know, the sounds, the Jerry Cantrells, the Brian Mays,
Yep.
Ty Tabor, King's X,
Nice.
people like that. I've just always gravitated to, and even System of a Down. You see, I got a shirt today. They unique guys, right? They're
Sure.
very unique sounding bands,
Sure.
and you know, that's been some of my biggest influences, I think, growing up.
Awesome. All right. Well, Dave am I pronouncing this right? Liegenfelter?
That's it. Close
Awesome.
enough, baby.
All right, Dave. Well, welcome to the show, bro. Let's talk about you, what your influences are, why you became a singer. Let's find out what your situation is in relation to that.
Well, that's kind of an all-in-one question, because the first I started off listening to, like Scott, like Kiss was a huge thing when I was a kid,
Well,
and I had every single album, and my dad ended up taking me to a show it was 79, 80.
wow.
And
Nice.
I got to I was sitting on his shoulders watching the opening band come out, which was Judas Priest.
Wow.
And
Nice.
so, like, sitting there as a 10-year-old kid watching Rob Halford for the first time, hearing him for the first time, that kind of changed everything musically for me, and what was possible with a voice, hearing his screams and just the control that he has.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the most amazing vocalists. Now that kind of shifted because my voice can't sound anything like Halford.
Right. Okay.
No one can.
It kind of fit more with the grunge era that came about.
Yes.
But most of the metal bands of the 80s were the powerhouse influences for me, and
Nice.
and then that just kind of morphed into what Beyond the Gray is now. So
Awesome. And it's funny that you mentioned that. Now, I don't know if you might have heard this before, but I kind of get the feeling that you've got a lot of influence off of Disturbed, because I hear quite a bit of Disturbed in the music, and how you're phrasing your vocals. Am I kind of right on that?
yeah, I get a little bit rhythmic with the way that my
Right.
vocals go, and
Got it.
and Draymond was a big influence for me. So
I could totally hear it in the music, man.
Yeah.
See, I'm pretty good at figuring that things out as a musician myself, as many years I've been playing, guys. Awesome. All right, guys, so let's talk about this. And I'll go back to you, Scott, on that. How did you guys, or who came up with the name Beyond the Gray? It's an interesting title.
I'm going to defer to Dave on that one. Yeah.
All right, Dave, we'll go back to you.
Yeah.
You tell me how this came about, because evidently you were the big influence, it seems to be, right?
it was so Jim, the bass player,
Okay.
and myself, we've been friends since we were just out of high school, and
Okay.
and always run in the same circles, but never in the same bands. And
Gotcha.
so when we finally got Beyond the Gray together just a few years ago,
Right.
Jim was like, hey, we're all a bunch of old guys, and all of us are graying a little. And
Ah.
like Scott said earlier, like, there's no quit in us. Like, I don't care how old we are, we're gonna keep rocking as hard as we can rock. And so we figured beyond the gray, there is still life to be had. So
Hence the title Beyond the Gray.
That's
I would
it.
have never even thought that is how the name came about. Unbelievable. That's really cool stuff. So that's how the name came about. So you guys all as a whole collaboration kind of came up with the idea concept, because you're a bunch of elder musicians.
That's
Is
it.
that correct? Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, guys. So how awesome is that? So basically, definitely I'm hitting it on the head with the different influences here and this and that. And how long has this band been together, Beyond the Gray? I'm not too familiar with you guys. Ronnie from, Flirt Magazine has turned me on to the music, and I listen to it, and I'm like, hey, these guys rock, man. I'm really liking what you guys are doing and what's coming out of the music and the influence and things like that. I have to say one thing, though, to both of you guys, that my partner, Rock Dude, didn't mention. He does hear Alice in Chains influence in the music as well. Is that correct? to be
Yeah,
saying
I would
that.
say so, especially since Scott got in the band. Because he didn't originally. I was playing guitar and singing,
Okay.
and then the stuff that we were writing, I just wasn't. It was like putting my, because I do rhythmic vocal lines. It was hard for me to keep playing and keep singing at the same time. And
Gotcha.
so when we reached out to Scott, well, actually Scott reached out to us.
Okay.
We put an ad out to find a guitar player.
Nice.
And when Scott joined the band, the Alice in Chains influence kind of came into the picture. We all love Alice in Chains, but it just wasn't,
Oh yeah.
as prevalent without Scott. So
Absolutely. Well, they're definitely a pivotal, changing type of band. Like they came out with that sound, and everybody's like, "Whoa, who are these guys?" Like, listen to this crazy singing. Listen to the phrasing. Listen to how Jerry controls his guitar and plays it. It's like nobody else. It's like it's a whole new sound. And when everybody heard it, they were like locked into this band. It became like a big connection as new music. And I agree with you guys on that. That's amazing because, Rocky, my partner, definitely pointed out as a major Alice in Chains fan that you guys definitely have that influence. It's definitely within the realm of the music you guys play. Now, I also do know you guys are also signed with Pure Steel Records, which, Scott, we talked about that earlier, which they're very good friends of ours. My band, Crown of Earth, original band, has got opportunities to play with several projects, or should I say showcases, where we're able to play with a lot of their artists, which is pretty awesome. They have a lot of great artists in their repertoire. I mean, Cloven Hall, very good friends of ours. We've toured with them in a couple shows from the UK. Great guys. They're also Pure Steel Records label artists as well, as long as you guys. How did you connect with Pure Steel Records?
Scott, you go.
Well, actually, that was through one of our managers, TC Page, kind of hooked us up with Pure Steel, and we ended up doing a publishing deal with them, which basically took our first two EPs, and they combined them, remastered them, and released that as one record, Unthinkable Tragedy, on the Pure Steel publishing label. So that was kind of our affiliation with those guys. They were very, helpful and supportive of that record. Our newest one, At One, however, we kind of, with COVID, everything going on, we've done this on our own. But we're very appreciative of, that collaboration with Pure Steel on our previous record, and being nice enough to put two of the previous EPs together into one. It was pretty cool.
Very awesome. And I have to say, was it At One? Is that the name of the album?
The new one.
Yes. Badass, dude. I have to mention one thing before we go to a break is the song Pain. Very Alice in Chains influence, but yet it's got a flavor that you guys bring to it, which really creates a different sound. And we're going to come back in just a minute and talk about more on At One, the newest release, in just a moment. Z. I'm back with the guys, Scott and Dave from Beyond the Gray. Welcome back, guys. Wow, pretty
What's that?
cool. As we talked about a few influences, how the name came about, which I would never, ever in a million years guess that's how the name came about, which is pretty cool. Let's talk about the new album. Let's tell everybody about this new album, At One. It kicks ass. It's awesome. What brought the concept? At One, where did that come from? Like, I know Beyond the Grays because you guys are older musicians, and that's how that concept came about. How did At One come about? What is that about? Like, what does that distinguish to the band and what you're trying to relate to to your fans now?
Well, the title track, actually, that song, At One,
Okay.
that we ended up naming the album after.
Right.
It was actually the last song that we recorded, and we didn't even know we were going to be taking that to the studio. But when it happened, it just kind of, everything just kind of flooded, and we looked at that as the times, everything that's going on, from COVID to all the political crap that's happened, and
Sure.
but I think the biggest thing for us is, music is, it's not only what brings us together as a band,
Right.
but I mean, it gives me life, and I look at that, and that's how I connect to people. That's what brings me back when I hear a tune, and I can go back to 1980 and sitting on my dad's shoulders and hearing a song for the first time,
Sure.
and I mean, like, that's what music does. It brings everybody together.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
all the things, and that's where the title, being at one
Okay.
with everybody around us, and kind of letting go of all the argumentative crap, and
So there's a positive message with this album. This is a positive message. There's really no negativity with a lot of metal bands. Not saying all metal bands sing about negativity, but this particular album has a positive message within it. It sounds like to me. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, that's kind of our vibe from
Nice.
that to I Prevail, which is all about just getting back on your feet and not ever quitting, and then there's the song when the castle falls,
Okay.
which is more of a ballady kind of thing, but that thing is all about fighting through depression.
Nice.
And
Okay.
and Men of War is another song on the EP, and that is backing our troops and people that have served our country, and the veterans, and
Nice.
we have a bike club that's here in Kansas City, that they have a chapter here that that song was for them.
amazing.
They're all vets, and
Awesome.
and then the priest song was just a bonus for us, and a childhood dream of mine to be able to record something like that. So, but it's all a positive thing for us. So,
amazing. All right. Well, let me go back to you, Scott, and hear your input on things about this. What's your input on that from what Dave's saying, which is awesome?
Dave's spot on. I mean, the way the whole record came together, and kind of we almost had the message of positivity without even really recognizing it. Until kind of after the fact of being like, wow, it's like, so that it just kind of came from within.
Yes.
And we had a lot of songs, and still have a lot of songs that we're writing, and these were the 5 that just kind of we voted on. What's the songs we want to bring to this record, and these were the ones that kind of stood out to us, and that stood out in a good way. That was the message and the meaning behind it. So yeah, we were very excited about how it turned out.
Awesome. And Scott, let me ask you this: Ronnie Hoxie. How did you guys connect with Ronnie? Did he hear your music and he reached out to you, or did you reach out to him? What was the connection with Ronnie? And what a great guy he is, a really great guy.
Yeah, we love Ronnie. I mean, Dave, he reached out to you initially, right? Wasn't it you that first got in touch with Ronnie?
Yeah, we kind of connected on Facebook, and just
Awesome.
started chatting about music and
Nice.
life. And,
Nice.
yeah.
So he really, when he heard the music you guys are putting out there, he's like, yo, this got something. I want to get these guys in my magazine. Hey, I'm a CEO, photographer of Flirt Magazine. I'd love to interview you guys. Would you be interested? I'm sure he probably did some approach like that. That's amazing. How did it feel to be, able to get in a high class, world class publication like Flirt magazine? It's like Rolling Stone meets Maxim or Playboy. It's literally that level.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, I was so fun to be able to work with the Flirt guys and Ronnie and get, to see, the article and the pictures and,
Sure.
and to be in, as you're kind of saying, Mark, with some other great artists.
Oh, yeah.
You're in a publication that has Nuno Betancourt and other people in it that, you've aspired to be like. So it makes it really cool to be, to feel like you're part of that community too.
Yeah, and absolutely, I have to say, and I always say this to Ronnie, and I talk to Ronnie quite often. He's such a great guy. He is so tasteful in how he does the girls and the pictures. Like, it's flirtatious, just like the magazine says. Like, it's done in such good taste. Like, he's a class act. He really is. And I'll tell you what, we're going to come back and talk more with these guys in just a minute.
I don't wanna hear no words of apology. I don't wanna see you beg and plead. There's just one solution to get what I need. Time for you to leave before you bleed, babe. It's too late for you now, babe. My rope has finally reached its end, babe. It's time to close the book now, babe, and let another one begin. I don't understand what I've become. All the things you've done, I have to overcome. It's an empty feeling, left me on my knees. Time for you to leave before you bleed, babe. It's too late for you now, babe. My rope has finally reached its end, babe. It's time to close the book now, babe, and let another one begin.
All right, this is Marky Z again, and I'm back with the guys from Beyond the Gray. Welcome back, guys. Wow, man, we're talking about some really cool stuff, and interesting how you guys, you have an album that's very positive with a message, and you guys didn't even plan it that way. It just seemed to work out that way, which is, hey, I look at it as a universe, man. I'm a very spiritual person, and I believe the universe guides us to do things. And, like you said, music is a universal language, and it will speak to you sometimes to what needs to be done when you are true and passionate in what you do, as we all are. But let's talk about moving into the future now, man, with Beyond the Gray. Do we have, I know the scandemic is a damper on us all as musicians, I realize that, but, there's always a bright side and a light, and we try to make that happen here at the Rockin' House, and why we enjoy having you guys on our show. All the artists we've had, we have to say we recognize you and really appreciate coming to the show and talking and telling us your story. And we're happy to sit there and support that. So let's talk about what's going on Beyond the Gray with any new material, any new albums that are looking to be released in the future. Do we have any tours that we maybe are looking at as things start opening up? What do you think, Scott?
So,
let's start with you.
We're lucky that we kind of had this record, our last, this at one that was released here just a couple months ago,
Okay.
that we had kind of all the recordings going and all the songs written for the most part. So that kind of covered us a little bit
Right.
in the downtime.
Okay.
Hell, we can't go out and play now. There's no shows, but we
Right.
can record all these songs.
Right.
So that was a great way. And then, there's a lot of other work we can do as a band to promote it
Sure.
and, hopefully get to be on great podcasts and things like this to help promote, right? To help
That's
promote
right,
the
man.
record. But all of us being musicians, even though it's been now some downtime, I'm always writing stuff. Everybody's always writing things. We've got so many songs. Dave, I got another one to send you today. I send everything. There's a process as every band has.
Sure.
It's kind of like I come up with a different riff, every other day and an idea, and then I send it to Dave. And then I laugh. I always say how quickly he gets back to me is how excited he is about it.
That's phenomenal.
If I don't hear from him, he thinks it sucks. No, move on to the next idea.
All right, so the chemistry with you guys as a whole, Beyond the Gray, is awesome. Like, you guys work so well together and gel so well together. You're like the riff master of the band, basically what I'm understanding. You come up with riffs a lot.
Yeah, John and myself, really everybody is an equal opportunity riff master in this band. And you're right about how it congeals. And we have a process we've been doing that seems to work pretty well. With Dave comes up, I come up with something, then Dave and we come down with something to the guys to show, and then everybody just kind of collaborates on it. And that seems to work best. At least for this. So, we've just gotten back to really practicing again, hardcore.
Sure.
In preparation for hopefully some more, some shows that are starting to line up here as news gets a little bit better and hopefully it stays that way up the ball here.
Awesome. And what about you, Dave? What do you think about that situation? How are things looking to you in relation to what he's saying here?
Yeah, we've all kind of, I think recording was a big help and being able to stay focused on that, but getting back together and being able to rehearse again, it's like just the thought of it excites me. So I'm, getting back into that, we have so many more songs that we had finished that we just couldn't get onto an album because we didn't have enough funds to back it.
Sure.
So we're hoping to be able to record some more in the near future. But I think as we moving forward, one of the biggest things that that we want to be able to play out, getting our stuff into the right hands to, as far as like promotion and having you on board with our stuff, having Ronnie back us, and with just putting our stuff out in his magazine, and we want to meet people outside of where we're, out of Kansas City, and this has been a great way for us to do that, and I hope that we can connect with more people outside of here so we can get out and play.
Sure. Awesome. Well, you know what? It sounds like you got the right attitude. Like you said, Beyond the Gray, you guys are unstoppable. You're not going to stop. You guys are breathing and thinking and living my language, because I'm the same way. I do not stop. And I'm 54 and I will not stop. I keep going forward because you know what, man? Music keeps you young. And as long as you keep having that passion and that conviction, man, people are going to feel that. They're going to feel it. When they hear your music, they play your record. That's how it was back in the day. When we listened to Kiss, we listened to that and we're like, wow, I can feel what these guys are talking about. I can feel what they're singing. I can feel everything. If we can model after that with what we do, we could be just as successful as Kiss or any of them bands, Judas Priest. We really can. And It sounds like you guys got that same attitude. And you guys got to stay that way. Don't let the COVID scandemic stop it. And obviously it's not. So, you know what, guys? I want to thank you definitely for coming to the show today and being a guest on the Rockin' House. We appreciate it. I'm sure there's a lot more we could talk about. But, we can always have you guys come back. Not a problem when something comes up.
Anytime, brother.
And we'll definitely do it. You guys stay safe, keep rocking, don't stop what you're doing. I'm Marky Z, my partner, Rock Dude.